Okay, now to get started with the audience coming on. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the Italian enclave of Kenosha, Wisconsin.
The Italian
Yeah,
enclave.
a lot of people think that's just exaggeration for comedic purposes, but it's not. When
No.
I was growing up, Kenosha was about 25% Italian. The mayor was Italian. People in Wisconsin were not sure of this whole Italian thing until Vince Lombardi.
Oh, of course.
Then
Yes.
they settled down and went, all right, let them stay in Kenosha. But if they get anywhere north of Hales Corners, shut them down.
I got to be honest with you. We drive down to Florida every year. I guess it's October sometime, and I love going through Wisconsin. I mean, Minnesota, Wisconsin, side by side, no question about it. But Wisconsinites are some of my favorite people in the world. I just love. They're very straightforward.
Trevor in the chat, he's all excited now. He's from Wisconsin.
There you go.
there you, yeah, there you
He's
Finally
go.
mentioned
responded.
tablet in the chat there, so that's Trevor.
He couldn't quite pull the trigger on we should all be against sexual abuse. He couldn't pull the trigger on that. But then Wisconsin joined the conversation
That's
and
right.
he's all in.
They mentioned Wisconsin. I'm
How
good to
much can
go.
you really say about the Epstein files, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now you mentioned that you were sort of group raised in a neighborhood with a bunch of you sort of had surrogate dads virtually everywhere.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
but
I
I
did.
also remember you saying at some point that that you grew up with a lot of Italians. So I'm guessing some of these dads may have been Italian.
Oh, there's no question about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Forte. Mr. Forte was an organ grinder. What do you think of
Wow,
Forte.
that? That's going
that
back a
goes
ways.
back a ways.
It's a,
Should bring that
Oh
back.
yeah, right.
Very
I
little
love.
Lipstick on
barrier
top
to
of the
entry.
thing. Hey, you do what you got to do to keep the
Hmm.
family. Hey, if you've ever heard the phrase, if you've ever used the phrase, um, "I would not wish that on my worst enemy,"
Yeah,
you're not Italian.
yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Italians will double down on that.
Yeah,
I wish that upon you. I wish that upon your dead spirit. I wish that upon your grandmother. Burn in hell. And that's for like a
yep.
parking space. They go to the mattresses quick. So yeah, Wisconsin people are fantastic,
They
super
are.
nice, and the state's beautiful. They don't want to offend anyone.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can see that.
No offensiveness, which is why the Packers have only scored like 8 points a game. They don't want to be too offensive.
They've won too many Super Bowls
Yeah,
already.
same with the Badgers. They don't want to be
Yeah.
offensive. No offense at all. Those two freaking teams.
Oh my God. But yeah, it is kind of lucky if you live right on the border in Minneapolis, St. Paul. You have all of Minnesota. You got all of Wisconsin. You can head down to Iowa. I mean, the Midwest. I do love the Midwest. There's no
The
question about
upper
it.
Midwest,
Upper Midwest.
particularly,
Yes. Yep.
is extremely fun. And I think there's a lot of, if you look at like maps of like public education in the United States, it's like all north of Springfield, Illinois. I mean, then it kind of picks up.
Yeah.
You look at like
Yes.
resistance to disease north of Des Moines. It's all up there. People tend to live healthier,
Yep.
drink more, but
Hmm.
live healthier. And I think it has to do, that's like the southern end of the boreal forest. And then you get further south, it starts to get kind of swampy,
Yep.
and
Hmm.
it starts to get hot and muggy. And then there's bugs as big as your fist. And you go, I don't need to have to file a flight pattern if I'm a June bug. Okay. Leave that down south, up north. It just clears out. If you go into the woods up north, you know who your enemies are. It's the bear and the wolf. That's it.
Right.
The
That's
occasional
true.
cougar.
Good
You
point.
don't have to be standing there going, "This is a beautiful view." Oh my God, there's a snake on my leg. Doesn't happen in the North Woods.
No,
Doesn't
it
happen.
doesn't. True. That's
That's
very,
the
very
beauty.
true.
That's what I love about it.
So now, where did you live when you lived? You did live in Minneapolis for a while, did you not?
Yeah, I lived in South Minneapolis.
Yes,
I
I
lived
thought.
off of
Yeah.
Cedar and like 37th,
Oh
somewhere
yeah.
around there. I lived there
Yep.
with Louis Anderson, the late great Louis
Oh,
Anderson.
Louis. Yeah. Well, you see his statue there right in front of Andy.
Yep.
No, oh, that's awesome.
That's
Little
Louis
bobblehead.
right
Great.
there,
Bobbling as we speak.
That's
bobbling as we
fantastic.
speak.
We lived down there in, Poor Town, man. It was scrambling down
Oh
there.
yeah. Oh
And we
yeah.
were at a point in time where we were scrambling in our careers. And I'll just never forget Louis like approached some neighborhood kid who was sledding or something, and he
Uh
said,
oh.
"Are you using this saucer?" And the kid said, "Well, kind of," but and Louis said, "Thanks." And he just took the kid's saucer, right? And he brought it home and he loaded it with charcoal and he loaded it with lighter fluid, lit it, slid it under his Mercury Montego overnight so that the engine wouldn't freeze up.
Oh, that's
Wow.
good.
Yeah,
That's a
I was
good
impressed.
move.
Probably got a bit of rust under there after that, but
Didn't matter because Louis wasn't keeping that car long. Louis was never
No,
having that
that's
car.
true.
just has
You
to
know,
work tomorrow.
yeah, the powder blue Mercury Montego was sort of a classic sled. That's what we used to call them. I don't know what you guys called them, but we used to call them sleds.
Yeah.
Just those big, the Oldsmobile 442,
Oh God, yes.
the one that didn't have the hot engine, the one that your grandma drove, the Buick Cutlass. Those cars were freaking perfect for that weather. They were
Yeah,
just perfect
they
because
were.
they already had a heavy ass end. So you could kind of grind your way out of
Hmm.
virtually any
Yeah,
spot if you knew how to rock a car,
good
which nobody
traction.
does anymore.
One of my favorite things about looking at Louis, the little statue there, and all the rest of it, that he would come. He and my mother were really good friends. My mother just
Oh, really?
loved him, and he loved
Yeah.
my mother, and it was So I would go pick up Louis at his hotel because Toots, my mother wanted to see Louis.
I could just see him with a cigarette going, or I think you're a little too hard on Tom. That's what
Oh
he
no, it's the
would
exact
say that to your
opposite.
mom.
That was the exact opposite of what happened. I would drop Louis off, and I had to go do, cut a commercial or do something. Then I'd come back. As I'd walk back into my mother's house, I'd hear my mother go, "Yeah, I just don't know sometimes about what's gonna work out with Tom or not because I just sometimes." Well, yeah, you're right, Toots. I mean, the guy's nuts. There's I hear my mother and Louis ripping me to shreds.
Yeah,
It's like
sure.
really great. Thanks, Louis. Not that they were wrong. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. But just the whole sort of, really, really, Louis should have had an afternoon daytime talk show.
Oh God, yes,
He would have
absolutely.
crushed that.
Yep. Why didn't he?
Absolutely crushed that. Just get a rotating
Yeah.
sort of a sidekick who could contribute to that kind of stuff. Because Louis
Hmm.
would go out on a stage, and I mean, I remember he would do prepared material, but he loved just going off the cuff like instantly. So he'd just go,
Yep.
"Hey, how y'all doing tonight? You look like you have a problem with your dad, don't you?" And he just dive in.
He jump
And you
into
go,
it.
"We're 8 seconds into the set."
Yep, it's true. Louis
He
is one
was
of those kind of
fantastic
guys that
that way.
magnificent memory. I mean, Andy's known Louis since you were what, Andy? About 5 years old.
Yeah,
Wow.
young enough that
Andy,
I don't remember not knowing him.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's very, very true. But he was something else. He and Toots, my mother, were spectacular friends. He was always a wonderful guy to me.
Yeah.
He's Louis was a terrific guy. He really was.
Yeah. He just was so smart and had
Yeah.
grown up in such a tough environment that he grew up in the projects in St. Paul, and the tools he learned to use to defend himself
Yep. That's right.
were a super quick razor sharp wit
Hmm.
and like psychological manipulation because he knew he wasn't gonna, he couldn't outrun anybody. He wasn't gonna
No,
out tough anybody, you
no.
know. So he would just sit down and if he got threatened, he would cut you to shreds in like 5 one-liners, and that would stop you from any sort of physical advance. I'm talking about when he's like 12 or
Yeah.
13. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
Just freeze some bully in his tracks, and then he would just drill you with something like, "You need more organized friendship in your life," and then you go, "What?" you know. Now he's in. Now
Yeah.
he's in. The
Oh
door's wide
yeah.
open. He's in.
Oh
You've
yeah.
opened the button drawer, and he's just going to start pushing the buttons, and then he can neutralize any situation. And when you're a kid, that's what you want to be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Neutralize the situation so you're not at a disadvantage. Now, if you can take that and take it to where you're at an advantage, great.
Mm-hmm.
But at least you got it neutralized now. And Louis was a master of that. Most of the guys I worked with, and as you know, I worked with some razor sharp. I mean, geez, I worked with Dennis Miller. I worked with
Mm-hmm.
Louis. I worked with Russell Brand. I mean, these are guys who are so fast off the top of their head that I have to go, wow, there's no chance I would have thought of that. And I'm not bad myself, you know.
Yeah.
So those guys uniformly have tough childhoods that they had to use that quick wit to neutralize the situation. It was like spraying laughing gas. You
Yeah.
know, it was
Yep.
like bam, 8 seconds of that. Everybody goes, oh, okay. And then you start to get the smarter, tough guys on your side because they go,
Yeah.
no, no, you don't mess with Louis. Louis our smart ass. You don't mess with, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Now you got the situation scoped. It was true for Russell Brand too. Many people don't know Russell Brand was a fat kid.
Oh,
Russell started out
I
as
didn't
a
know that.
fat kid, and bam, man! When you've been using that muscle since you're 2.5,
Yeah.
you are
Yeah.
firing, man. You are jacking one-liners out before anybody can even unholster their gun. It's amazing how fast those guys work, and I believe it was out of necessity. And Dennis the same way. Dennis grew up in a tough area of Pittsburgh, and his dad was a cop and then wasn't a cop, and that was a bit of a
Oh.
mess.
Yeah.
And his brother, his oldest brother, was very athletic, was a jock, and he just there's no way you're going to compete with that. And I used to wonder to myself, why did Dennis and Miller and I hit it off immediately when we both got to town? It puzzled me because I thought, I'm
Yeah.
sort of this nice guy from Wisconsin, and he grew up in this tough neighborhood in Pittsburgh, and we're both lippy, and we're, kind of two sides of the same coin from a comedy writing standpoint. He always took the edgier side. I took the little nicer side. And it dawned on me like 2 years ago. I said, oh, we're Rust Belt kids. We're Rust Belt kids with no discernible talent to try to get laid. Eh, Bam, instant
Yeah.
connection. That's biological right there,
Yeah.
baby.
It is.
So I'm telling you, within the first sentence of meeting each other, we were like brothers. That was it. And we hung together the entire time.
It is a wonderful. We're just talking to you brings back all these magnificent memories. Looking at Louis' little statue there in front of Andy and all the rest of it. I remember he was at our house one time in Golden Valley, and Catherine is sitting with her back to the door, and Louis is kind of sitting to the right. So they both kind of had their back to the door, but Catherine was directly, and Louis was about 75% turned away from the door. But that living room had what would you say, Andy? About 15 windows in it, something like that.
Oh yeah, it was
At
all
least
window.
it was all windows. So as I'm walking in, I can see Louis, and he didn't glance over at me or anything, but I knew he could see me. He didn't indicate that he could see me, but I knew he could see me. As I'm walking in, Louis says to my mother and Catherine, "Don't you think Tom's a little self-involved?"
Yeah.
It's like, thanks, Louis. Welcome home, Tom. Great talking to you.
It's like he had the hot fireplace poker
Yep.
he just knew when to kind of, let's turn a log and see if we can't burst up an 8-foot flame. It was
Isn't
fun. It was just actually, it was just brain. It was like people use Wordle for that now.
yeah?
Mhm.
Louis
Oh
just
yeah.
Louis just stirred the pot, you know. Denny
He
the
loved
same
it.
way. I mean, and I know you've had your run-ins with Dennis, but I'll never forget we were playing pickup basketball. He was staying with me. It was right when he got SNL.
Oh,
And
okay.
that first year was rough for Dennis.
Oh
Because
yeah.
nobody would write for Dennis. Nobody would write
God.
for Update because they were all busy, crazy busy, trying to get a sketch on. All
Yeah.
the writers, it was a whole different world back then. It was so much more dog eat dog. Well, I don't know how much more, but because I believe it's still that way. But
Right.
it was. I think the room is mellowed, but back then it was kind of cutthroat. So I would throw Dennis bits from the road. I was doing the road 7-8 months a year, and
Oh yeah.
if I had a topical bit, I would say, "Look, this is burnt in 2 weeks. You might as well use it if you want to." So I would feed him stuff, and when he came out to California, he would crash on my couch because he wasn't making any money yet on SNL,
Right. Right.
and so we would go to the junior high nearby and just shoot hoops. And Denny and I had about the same level of athletic ability,
Well, that's
which is
good, isn't it?
if a coach looked at you, he would go, "Eh, coachable," which means you could play defense. That was it. You would you would crash through a wall to play defense.
Sure.
So it was if it was basketball, it was let him play defense and hot potato. Cesario, Miller, you get the ball in your hands, get rid of it immediately. So, so we were out playing, and some dude came by and wanted to play. And he wasn't particularly athletic, but he knew a little bit about the game. And so we were playing like horse or 1-on-1 because he was guarding Dennis. And we picked up a fourth guy. So it was 2-on-2. And it's me and Dennis. And this guy starts to guard Dennis real closely. And Dennis just starts in on him. Like, what are you, a Sherpa guide? Get off my ass. And and boom, 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 boom. He's just nailing this guy. He's like, I got underwear looser than you. Get off of me. And he's just nailing the guy. And then he starts in on his intelligence line.
Oh
We're
God.
playing at a junior high. You ever clear junior high, cha-cha? And it's just him. And I'm laughing because I know it's Dennis. And this is the only edge he has in athletics is to play
Yeah.
mind games.
Yeah.
And finally the guy's had it. And he pops Dennis
Oh.
right in the nose.
Mm.
And Dennis, and this is what I mean about these guys, these brilliant comedy minds. Dennis just looks at him. He wasn't even bleeding. He just feels it. He goes, "What the hell did you do that for?" It didn't, you know what I mean? It didn't compute.
Right. That's phenomenal.
It was so revealing to me. And then these guys just have a whole other muscle that is God given and then developed at an early age because of how they grew up.
Yeah.
I remember on the Dennis Miller live show, Denny was long past SNL, had a late night talk show that didn't work, got canceled. Everybody's like, "Oh God, what's Dennis going to do next?" And Michael
Right.
Fuchs at HBO said, "Give him a talk show. Just let him rant. That's all I want." He talked to the late great Brad Gray and said, "That's all I want is him ranting." So Denny came to me and said, "Can we design a show?" We designed the show together, and Dennis just, can write volumes of stuff. We got a writing staff in to kick it all around, and it worked. Long story short, it worked within 6 episodes. We won 2 Emmys in our first 6 episodes,
Ooh.
which is shocking. It's just amazing.
Mhm.
So all of a sudden, I went from just some jerk stand-up whom HBO is going, "Yeah, he's cute. Could we get a real producer in here?"
That's nice.
Literally within
Feels
2 months,
good.
they were like, "All right, you're the comic whisperer. Can you get on the Chris Rock show? Can we get you?" I mean, they just like thought, I was, able to talk comics into doing anything. But we went through a series of directors on Dennis Miller Live, and it was a pretty simple show to shoot because he just stayed on Dennis. He did the monologue. We did a slow push in when he did the rant. Then he went and sat down, took phone calls, brought out a guest. That was it. pretty much. Then he went over and did the picture jokes, and a little practice, you get the timing of those. So it wasn't particularly tough. But he loved sports, and he loved Chet Forte. And when you mentioned one of the dads was Mr. Forte in your neighborhood, Mr. Forte, and Chet Forte had hit a little bit of a rough patch because ABC had let him go for Monday Night Football and all that.
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
It just happened. And so Dennis said, I love the guy. Bring him in. So we bring him in, and suddenly Chet Forte, the most famous director in all of sports, is directing the Dennis Miller Live show. So I'm like, wow, this is fantastic. Normally, because we were live, normally I'm out on the set making sure everything's going well. Once in a while, I would go into the control room just to make sure everything was cool. So we're doing, and as you may remember, we were we had a theme every week, and the theme this week was humility. And Dennis is doing his rant on humility, and that's just a tight shot of Dennis, black background. He's going off on this rant on humility and how I don't care how big you get in show business, you got to understand where you came from. So I'm hearing this, and I'm going, okay, the rant's going great. I go into the control room to see if everything's fine. I'm standing, for some reason, this never, ever happened. I'm standing right behind Chet Forte, who's sitting down, looking at the monitors, calling cameras, directing the show. And I hear Dennis go, so humility is really a key. You have to know the names of the people you work with, for Christ's sake. And the other thing, and I hear him stumble, and then he goes, hey, director guy, I'm up here. Pull the camera up.
Hey, director guy. There you go.
Director guy. And Chet Forte goes, did he just call me director guy? That little son of a bitch. And he gets up like this. He's going to leave and beat the shit out of him. I happen to be right behind him, and I just push him down. He's a bull. I push him down by his shoulders, and I go, Chet, it's just Dennis. It's like Chinatown at that point. It's just Dennis. Let it go. I had to Chinatown him at the end. Physically pushed Chet Forte back into the chair.
Oh, my God. Wonderful stories. Can we take a break? You stay with us? I hope.
I got time. I don't have to feed the cats for another hour.
So there you go. We got great timing then. It's all great timing. We'll take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes. Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Pete Wolf, owner of Robinson Rubber of Robbinsdale.
I partnered with North American Banking Company because I was able to talk to the president, and I know they have my back. They are much easier to talk to than those larger banks. The openness and flexibility has been the best part of banking with North American Banking Company. They understand small to medium businesses. No matter what part of the bank I am working with, North American Banking Company has the latest technology and friendly staff. I would absolutely recommend North American Banking Company to any of my closest colleagues if they want to have peace of mind in their business.
So why not bank where I bank, with my friends at North American Banking Company? To learn more about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com. That's nabankco.com, or do what I do and stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. It is Tom for Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Facilities. Well, here's the deal. Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Facilities are a place that you can live with your loved ones, live with pride and dignity, very important. If you care deeply about someone in your life, Wellshire is the place I highly recommend. Wellshire is a memory care focused facility that has a full nursing team, always staffed within the building 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They've never used or relied on any staffing agencies. Wellshire Medina is now accepting elderly waivers after 12 months of private pay. I know them personally. That is true, by the way. And they are a family-owned local company conveniently located right in Medina and Bloomington. They are the best staffed memory care facility in the state. They really are. Wellshire is a robust community with activities 7 days a week. If your loved one is in need of a memory care facility, please get in touch with my friends at Wellshire. Set up a tour or learn more at wellshiremn.com. That's WEALSHIREMN.com. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. There's an Italian with us, an eye tie. That's all we need. There's no question. Oh no, it's great. Honest to God, I just. How many years have I known you now?
We met in 82,
God, it was
1982.
82.
That's what, 43
43
years?
years?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Longer than I've been alive.
43 years. Yeah, it's longer than
That
you've been
help?
alive, Andy. That's true.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. Yeah, I know. What was it? I have talked to you about this before. It was decades ago, though, because you're now talking what, almost 40 years ago. All the rest of it, not almost. It is 40 years ago. But I just looking back at why that show worked the way it did, because you guys immediately responded to all the stuff. Do you guys know how do you know ahead of time whether that's going to be a good experience or not such a great one? Or do you just roll the dice and show up and do it?
You roll the dice, show
Yeah,
up, do it, evaluate, and say, I will never do that again with that person, or I will do it again.
Well, I mean, how many times did we have a comedian on this podcast, and after the show, they were like, "That's not at all what I was expecting." I was expecting, go on there for 5 minutes, you tell your couple of one-liners, you say, "Oh, I'm going to be at this comedy club at this time," and then you leave.
Yeah.
And they were like, "I wasn't expecting to be here for 40 minutes, talking about all sorts of stuff," and a lot of because they really don't, they don't have the time, because how many, like when you're on tour and you're promoting yourself. How many of these shows do you go on in a week?
Even nowadays, and especially with podcasts, you're still doing, I would say, a good 3 to 5 of these a week.
Yeah.
And I'm saying you're getting in Wednesday, and you're slamming 4 or 5 of these in between then and Friday afternoon.
Yeah, no,
So
like
you're
no one's
doing
going to
2 a
be
day. Yeah,
no
and-
one's going to be like listening to these things ahead of time, because it would take you
Right.
like all day to like scope it out. So it's just like you got to
Right.
hope.
Yeah, and you kind of it's like golf. You develop a club for every shot, So when you walk into an environment, and you can tell instantly when the associate producer is bringing you into the green room, which is the bathroom with a coffee machine in it.
Exactly.
That's the green room
That's
on most
true.
radio stations. So when you're in there, you can tell immediately how, if the production associate, if there's fear in their eyes, okay, this is one of those 4.5-minute things.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get out the 7-iron. I'm going to hit 7 jokes in 3.5 minutes, and I'm going to get out of here. And all I got to do is remember before I go in to give them the plug, so they plug it.
Yeah. Yep.
And give them the 3 setups. And that's the way it is. If I walk into a show like yours, and I remember walking in, even back in the old place out on the highway, where you had the tower right next to you, out off of 100, I think it was.
Yep. It
Even
was.
back then, you walk in, people are looking at you. Hey, sit down. You want a donut? Grab a donut. There's donuts. There's coffee drinks. I can hear people yelling and screaming, and I go, how can that go on when Tom's trying to do a show? And they go, that's the show. And I go, oh,
Yeah, that's true.
okay. I got
Yeah.
it. Now my coat's off. I'm relaxed. I walk in. I know you got my setups. You'll get to them if you want. And I knew that the first time.
Oh, really?
Yes. You just intrinsically understand. And you go in, it's a relaxed atmosphere. You know you can bust chops a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And that's sort of a gateway drug in that environment. If I walk in and go, hey, glad you dressed for the occasion, whatever it is, boom, zap somebody. They're laughing. Everybody else on the crew is laughing because you busted the one guy. So now you're in the chemistry already.
Yeah.
And then you sit down and then you know how to interview, know how to give the space. And then, man, you're just off and running. You're just off and running. It's like a playground versus a video game. A lot of those shows, you just keep it tight, keep it right in here. And then you were like, hey, we got about 150 yards of concrete here. And just knock yourself out. You want to play Foursquare? Go over there. You want to play hoops? Go over here. You want,
It's true. Yeah.
it was so much
Yep.
fun, and you could feel it instantly. And you
It
wanted to
was.
bring your A game because of that.
Well, what's so amazing about that thing is that when I first started it, they said, that's not going to happen. I said, what do you mean? Nobody's going to come in and do a stand up on your show. It's just, it's never worked before. And I said, no, 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 no. I'm not going to approach it that way. I'm going to sit and talk to them. And if the comedy comes out, it comes out. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not going to force them to tell another joke. I mean, it's not what I'm going to do, right? It was just a weird feeling, no question about it. Dave Hamilton, it was Dave Hamilton's idea from the very beginning.
Great
I haven't
guy.
talked to Dave in a while now. Yeah, Dave's been a friend for many, many years. No
And
question about it.
that's the type of executive that really doesn't exist anymore. Someone
Yeah.
who still went from his gut and just went, got a hunch about this. I'm going to let it play out. I'll construct those safety barrels that they have on the highway if you get off track and smash into an on ramp. I'm going to put
Right.
those around it so if we smash, we can recover okay.
Yes.
But I'm going to give this a shot. And I don't care if it's radio, television, movies, even podcasting. That has kind of gone away. I just saw a documentary on Tootsie, on the making of Tootsie, the
Oh,
movie
sure.
Tootsie,
Yeah.
which is one of the most unbelievable movies ever of any
Mhm.
kind. It's hilarious and it holds up. Watch it;
Mhm.
it's freaking hilarious. And they were saying that nobody does that anymore. You know, Sidney Pollack, the director, just had a hunch about a certain actor for a role. Just had a hunch. Okay, if I get in here, we're going to do it this way. Nobody goes on their hunches anymore.
Mm-mm.
They go to
Oh.
analytics all the
Yep.
time, 100% of the time. And hopefully that will break now. And I think you're seeing it in some respects. And creatively, you'll get some execs who got nothing to lose and just fire a bullet and go at it.
Well, it's
Right.
interesting you say that because so I got a 4-year-old kid, and he's recently gotten into the whole Minions thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, every kid loves them, those little yellow minions. And so we've been watching the Despicable Me movies and the Minions movies, of which there is a grand total of 6 between them. So plenty of movies. And pretty much every voiced role is an A-list celebrity.
Oh.
And they're always like a celebrity that was really huge when the movie was being shot.
Mm,
I guess you don't shoot those movies, but you know what I mean.
right.
And I feel like a lot of them are miscasts. And but these movies are making $1 billion, and
Yeah.
even though, like, to me, it just doesn't quite hit. You know, a
Mhm.
lot of the villains are like just like some flavor of the month or some like gigantic star that's always going to be gigantic, but isn't really a voice actor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, to me, the fact that they did that, it just feels so like safe and corporate. They just went to like, oh, this popular person is going to bring us another 200
Yeah.
million, and they're right. But I think the medium suffers a little bit
Yeah,
when
it
you
would
do
be
that.
nice to see a mix. Now, from a
Yeah,
business
exactly.
standpoint, I completely understand that decision as a studio.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
want 2 or 3 or 4 of those movies
Mhm.
out at all times. But that should allow you to then take and go do a funny comedy, a rom-com, a blue comedy, a smaller movie that still has marketability. You know, you should still have a sort of a breadth of creativity on a calendar and give that a shot. But, you know, who knows where the hell it's going now? Who knows? I would not want
Yeah.
to be a comic coming into the business now because you truly have to do absolutely everything yourself.
I know where it's all going right now. Chris Pratt and Jack Black.
I'll be honest, maybe for another 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And
Then
then
we're gonna
that's
do-
gonna flip around. I mean,
Yep.
if you look at the talk shows now,
Mhm.
which are losing viewership, but if you look at who they're booking, you go, it's like a game when you used to go to the rich area of town and watch the cars drive by.
Mhm.
It's like that watching
Yep.
late night TV now. You go, don't know him, don't know her, Don't know it. Him I know. Him I know. That's Pontiac. I
There
know
you
him.
go.
You know,
Yeah.
you don't know anybody.
Mhm.
They're starring in the award-winning 11, multi Emmy winning Brick on AMC, and you go, what? Where? What was that?
Yeah,
Brick?
but is
Is
that
that a
just a function of
comedy?
our age? Like none of us are in our 20s anymore? Because,
Oh
it's
yeah,
like,
it's all flipping to that. You're right. I mean,
Mhm.
that's their language. They're born with that language. They're born
Yep.
with 100 channels. We weren't or aren't.
No, that's very
Mhm.
true. That is very, very true.
Some of these like Instagram stars, TikTok stars, they're making millions of dollars a year. I mean, they're getting like tens, hundreds of millions of views. There's like entire generations of kids who know who these people are, and no one over the age of like 25 has ever heard of them. It's the most insular thing in the
Yeah.
world.
Really?
Because, like,
Yeah.
for a while, big stars, like even up until now, like I mentioned, Chris Pratt, Jack Black, going back to like Elvis and Abbott and Costello, it's like no matter who you were, you knew who they were. Even if
Yeah.
you didn't like
Yep.
Elvis, you knew of Elvis. But these Instagram stars, they appeal to such a very small subset of people that like even these people's friends and parents have never heard their names before. And it's very strange to me.
Yeah. And yet they still want to try to cross over because there's
Yes.
money to be made in
And they'll
television
make a horrible
or
movie.
movies for those stars. And they're not, most of them aren't equipped necessarily to cross over. They're phenomenal in their narrow lane,
Mhm.
but it takes a special person amongst them to then cross over and have the muscles to know how to do things and how to learn fast in the world of modern television, modern movies. It's crazy. And then you just get your demographic and you run with that. It's the same with politics on either side of it. I completely understand far right wing podcasters. From when I was doing Bill Maher's first show, Politically Incorrect,
Right.
I would do that
Right.
show with like Cal Roberts and Tucker Carlson. This is 30 years ago, 35 years ago. I was on a panel with them, and they were just nice guys who had, for some of them, I'm not even sure they were that politically passionate. They just found, oh, if I do this, I
Mhm.
get this demo. It's like a comic. Oh, wait a second. I don't write that great jokes, but if I use props, I got a ton of people who are going to follow me. So it's like they get their demographic and then they feed that demographic, and that's how you achieve capitalism and financial success in this world now. And I never, I always had like fans, but I never felt like I had a demographic,
Oh yeah.
like starting to coalesce around me. But I remember this distinctly once because you guys know me. I'm really urban looking, and
There you
my
go.
last name is Cesario. So I went sort of a urban kind of feel, Italian urban kind of feel to my stuff. And I was doing a show. They kept asking me to do this show on NBC called Hot Country Nights that Dick Clark produced.
Oh.
And I said, look, I know a minefield from a mile away. I'm not walking into that. I'm not walking. And they kept bothering me. And they kept bothering me. And then they said, look, it's $3,500 a pop. We'll promise to do 2 of those with you if you want after the first one. And I said, geez, that pays my union dues. That gets me into
Yeah.
AFTRA,
Yeah.
And I went, all right, I'll do it. So I go on Hot Country Nights. I tell my first joke. It kills.
Ooh.
And I'm
There you
like,
go.
oh, well, at least this won't go badly. I'll get out of here. Okay.
Yep.
I tell my second joke. Kills. My third joke crushes. I've only got 4 jokes left. I'm cruising. In the back of my head, Tom, I'm thinking, have I missed my demographic this badly?
Yeah, man. That's exactly
My entire
it.
career, country people are eating me alive. That's all they want is more jokes from me. And it just kind of taught me a lesson, which is, don't knock out any demographic. You never know who will
Right.
respond
Yep.
to what you're doing or why. And I did 3 of them in about 9 months. It was fantastic.
Isn't that
And
wonderful?
I loved it. I loved it. But I think I missed my demo.
You think you do, or you did?
Yeah.
Uh-oh, who's that?
Uh-oh. Come
Oh,
on
she's
in.
getting Jude.
Hey, Nana.
She's
what
getting
are you
the
doing?
dog.
Oh, she's getting Jude out.
Judy.
He was pretty much asleep, wasn't he, the whole time?
He always is.
He
Yeah,
always
didn't
is.
bother. I will say that the first couple of times you called the dog Jew, I was a little concerned.
Jude.
Yeah, we have that problem in West Palm Beach quite frequently, if
There
you
we go.
can
Jude.
imagine.
You gotta hammer that consonant on the end of that for your guest.
That's kind of why we call him Judy or Judith, even though he's male.
Yeah, even though he's call him Judy. Yeah.
I guess we call him Judah. I don't know.
Oh, Jude is
Hey,
good.
Jude. Hey, Jude. Salute to the Beatles. Paul McCartney, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had Foxworthy on?
Jeff Foxworthy quite a while ago. I should
Oh
have.
man,
I
if he
always
ever
liked him.
squares up in that, I'll let him. He is so funny.
What show was that he was on?
Oh
Was that
God,
That
he used to
comedy
do,
tour or blue collar comedy tour.
Blue Collar Comedy Tour. There you go.
That's it.
There you go.
and he did. Are you smarter than a 5th grader?
Yeah, he did
Yep.
that.
But
Yeah, I'd love to do that. That's great.
there's another switch around where when I heard Foxworthy, and it was kind of in vogue to sort of criticize Jeff when he got hot
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
because he's just the you might be a redneck guy,
Yep.
Yeah.
you know. And I kept listening to his stuff, and I went, "Oh my God, this dude writes a joke."
Yeah.
Unbelievable jokes. I don't care if it's hooked or not. This guy, and I kept listening to him going, "Oh, killer joke, killer joke, killer joke," just one after another. And I mean, like one of my favorite jokes of his is if you've had to climb the town water tower again with an open bucket of paint and a paintbrush, just trying to defend your sister's honor, you might be a redneck. Listen to that joke. That is what a picture that paints. Oh my God. I went, this guy's freaking genius. He can write anything.
Well, that was during the period where if you weren't doing a 40-minute edgy monologue, you weren't really taken seriously.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he brought the whole like one-liner thing back.
Yeah.
But for a while there, it was like,
unabashed about the hook,
Yeah.
just went right at it.
for
And
a
I
while
remember
you
the
had to
first
be like
time-
Mr. Negative.
Yeah, the first time I ran into him was on my way out to California, driving my Gremlin from Minneapolis to Denver to
Gremlin.
headline, and then from there to LA to move in and live
Sure.
there.
Yeah.
And I saw a cassette tape at a truck stop, and it was "You Might Be a Redneck If." And I went, wow, who is this dude? I've heard about it. And this is incredible. And then I had him on the podcast. I have had a podcast for a long time, but I've suspended it because I'm doing other things. But I had him on the podcast, and I was about to ask him a question about the business end of it, because I thought, wow, what a genius. He knows his market so well. And it's the first time I'd ever seen a stand-up do that. This is 82, 83, whenever I moved out, 83, 84. And he's the only comedy cassette in the rack is his. It's all country music and Jeff Foxworthy. And I thought, that guy's a genius. And so I asked, now, how did you get into the truck stops? And he went, well, I sold the rights to that for $7,000.
Ooh.
It's good marketing.
And he said, God bless, it worked out for me, but and I literally said, well, that scratches off my next question. Have you always been a natural business person?
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
I just thought, this guy's a genius. Look, he's getting it into truck stop.
Yeah.
And he got completely robbed.
Mm-hmm. But it made him a household name in a lot of places, and that's
it
really
did.
the hardest part, is getting to be known. At that point, you can do anything; you'll be somewhat successful at the very least.
And you get your demo Man, like we were talking, he got his demo and he lined it up, and it was a big one. And then that next step was stand up and pound that stand up, and then find the right foursome and hit blue collar, which was early '90s. That was only 6 to 8 years after the cassette tapes were in truck stops.
Oh,
And
God.
that he
Exactly.
owned. That he owned. He owned the whole freaking blue collar tour concept. I think he learned that lesson and said, "All right, that's it. I'm owning everything from here on out."
I love it. We'll take a quick break, come back and wrap it up. If you got 5-10 more minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Marvelous. We'll be right back.
I'm here.
South Dakota, one of the most business-friendly states in the country, and there's no better place to settle down and take advantage of those incentives than in Sioux Falls. As the state's largest city with a metro population over 290,000, Sioux Falls has low business costs with a high quality of life. There's no state, corporate, or personal income tax, no inheritance tax, no limits to what your business can achieve. South Dakota ranks among the top 10 states in the United States for tax friendliness, hardest working, healthcare and doctors, the most popular to move to, inbound state for movers. Spotlights on Sioux Falls, listed in the 50 best places to live for families, the fastest growing Midwest metro, one of the best places to raise a family, one of the best small cities for Gen Z workers, and national fourth top inbound city people move to. How does South Dakota stack up against other states? Well, we rank second in the nation for the lowest cost of doing business, the most business-friendly state, and the best business tax climate. And as South Dakota's biggest city, Sioux Falls is at the center of these benefits. Visit www.siouxfallsdevelopment.com. Can't get enough Tom Bernard podcasts? Looking for a vessel to contain your beverages? Perhaps a hat or a hoodie to keep you warm in the cold months and looking cool in the warm months? We've even got luggage with our logo on it so you can show people overseas what they're missing out on. If any of this sounds like your kind of thing, simply head over to tombernardpodcast.com, click on the merch button, and shop away. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff Cesario. So where are you now?
I'm in Los Angeles. We're between the floods, the fires, and the ICE deportations. It's been a laugh riot.
I suppose. Sounds really interesting.
Yeah,
So
that's what we need in Los Angeles. White kitchen help. Yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah, there you go.
Our specials tonight are bologna gumbo and deep fried sushi. Our vegetable is SpaghettiOs. Please don't kick everybody out of the state, for God's sake.
Oh no, deep fried sushi sounds like you might have a thing going there.
It's called a fish boil.
It's called a fish boil.
It's not sushi anymore at that point, I suppose.
Right, exactly. So I'm in LA, man.
Yeah,
Working,
that's
helping the family out here. My wife and my daughter, who's in high school, and then I'm doing. I'm thinking about trying to do some stand up. We'll see how that goes. Get out and maybe do a few dates, and I'm working on a couple of writing projects. I got a kids book I'm working on, and then I got a television project with a very good young actress who's also a really good writer. So we're pounding that. And I met her through a buddy of mine from Kenosha. It's his
Kenosha, Wisconsin, ladies and gentlemen.
and he, Dan Fornero, this is how rich Kenosha was. This is how good Kenosha was at getting good teachers. They had such good music teachers that there's, out of this dumb little blue collar town, there's like, the principal oboist of the Chicago Symphony was from Kenosha. I mean, like insane. And Danny Fornero, trumpet player, tremendous trumpet player, him and John Fumo, another Italian trumpet player from Kenosha, got so good they came out to California, top call studio trumpet players. And then Dan Fornero he's the guy who played all the lead trumpet on Phil Collins stuff, all of Phil Collins stuff, all that classic Phil Collins stuff.
Yep.
That's Danny Fornero on trumpet. And we went out for breakfast one day. He said, "You should meet my daughter." And now I'm writing a TV show with his daughter.
I always
And she
wonder
actually has management that's interested still in trying to do their job. So they may actually go out and sell the thing. We'll see.
how does someone decide to become an oboist? Not that there's anything wrong with it, but like when you think of like, I want to be a famous musician, oboe is usually not in the top 3.
Well, I don't know how they do it in normal society, but in Kenosha, which is just a blue collar factory town that happened to be smart enough to get some good music administrators in who
Yeah.
hired good teachers
Yeah.
who understood the town, they went and said, all right, you're in 5th grade, blow on the saxophone or this clarinet for a little bit. Let me see how you're doing.
Mm.
Not that good. I remember I tried trumpet. They said, you're not bad, but we need drummers. Go drum. And so that
There
was
you
it.
go.
So they looked
Yeah.
at kids and they went, you're good. You know what? And then they probably tried to bullshit a little bit. Probably, yeah, you have the embouchure that would be better for a double reed instrument like an oboe or bassoon. Oh my God. We need bassoon players. How weird is that?
Wouldn't you
Why
know
don't you
it?
try bassoon? That's how they got him in Kenosha.
You got headhunted at 11?
What's that?
They got headhunted at 11?
Yes, exactly.
Good God. Jeff, you got to come back, man. It's just, how many years have I known you now?
It has been, we've figured, 43.
43 years.
43 years. I first came on in 82 when I was, I think I was starting to do farewell shows because I left in spring of 83.
Yeah.
So I was probably trying to get on to push those. And I got on. I think I may have got on once with Louis.
Oh, yeah.
And was
Yeah.
smart enough to lay back and just dive in if I had a really good one. And I think you said, he was funny. He opened his mouth 3 times and he was funny 3 times. Bring him back. So I think that's how I then got into just do a solo appearance.
It was
So
wonderful.
you were on before the KQ morning show then?
I was on right at the cusp of that.
Oh, because that was
As it was
86
being
it started.
What's that?
It was 86 at
No, he's
that
talking about
started.
the first one, Andy. That was in 82.
Yeah.
What show
was-
was that? That was
That was out on the highway, whatever
That was
that
KQ Morning Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't remember that, Andy. I was the first time I was on the KQ Morning Show, I think, was in 82. Would that sound about right, Jeff?
Yeah. Because I remember you had Louis on before he left. Because he
Yes.
was doing a
Yep.
really big show at First Avenue.
Tom and
And-
Dan. That's what it was.
and
Okay,
Tom
he
and
had-
Dan. No, that was the one. That was
No?
the second one.
that was the second
original-
one.
Yeah, that was the one that started in 86. or
Well, KQ
87.
morning show was 86. That started in 86.
Yeah, that's the one
Tom
Dan
and Dan must have
Culhane
been
was on.
just before that. We're going to get to the bottom of this in chat. I know there's some.
Yeah, I really think it's pretty clear that we all have to up our Crestor
Yeah, that's right.
level.
We get it all taken
And then
care
our brains
of.
will clear out.
But it's so great looking back on all that stuff and being able to, be around actors and comedians and writers and all the rest of it. I mean, how lucky has it been for me to be? I first went on the air at KSTP in 1971 or something like that. 71, maybe 72. So, I mean, over 50 years of having people on and doing interviews, not very many people get that chance. It's just magnificent. That I am so grateful for the life I've had because of people like you. And by the way, Minneapolis being a great comedy market certainly didn't hurt.
Great arts market. I mean, it blew up right when you were hitting it and we were hitting it.
It's
It like blew up musically,
Yep.
blew up comedically. It was the hot spot. Late 70s, early 80s, and then throughout the 80s, it remained a really hot place into the 90s, clear for music and comedy and everything.
did.
And am I nuts? You started, weren't you like an A&R guy, and you also were like you weren't ad sales, but you were like an ad manager or something.
I was
And you
did a lot of
started at sort
voiceover.
of the business side of it, and then you kind of went,
Yep.
well, Jesus, these people suck.
I don't know that I said
I
that.
can do
but
this.
I didn't know anyone could hear
I
me.
think you tapped into a little bit what I always thought was your talent was you kind of got a crew around you, some of whom would respond sort of in a positive and funny yes man way, and others who would constantly give you crap.
Yes. Yep.
And you kind of allowed that to play out.
Mm-hmm.
And if the guy behind the glass who was just doing sound effects spoke up and said something funny, okay, not too often, but go ahead. And if it wasn't, then you went, you know what? You really got to here, really just get the donuts, okay? Just keep the comments
Yeah, there
coming,
you
okay?
go. Just-
But I mean, you built a show, like a show that nowadays you would just film that,
yeah,
and that would be the podcast.
that
Because
is
look at the
true.
podcast; they're pushing this barstool thing on mornings on Fox Sports
Yeah,
One,
yeah,
Fox Sports One, and it's four dudes sitting around talking. That's all it is. They spent 8 cents on the set,
yep,
and that's kind of what it is
yeah.
and what it was. Plus, you knew your market. You knew Minneapolis in and out. You knew how to tease them, and and uh, and man, you got a demo that was insane.
It was just amazing. It had a 40 share. It was
Yeah.
unbelievable. It
40.
was absolutely. We did. We had a 40 share. It was like, oh
You
my
should
god.
call your production company 40 Share Productions.
I
there you
should,
go.
yes. Well, when the next time you're in town, or even if you're not in town, anytime you want to come on, I'd love to hear from you.
Let's do it. We'll do it. We'll do it when both the Packers and Vikings are out of the playoffs. It will be 2 weeks.
It'll be,
Should
be
be
a
any
couple of
moment
weeks
now.
from
It's going to be 2 weeks.
All right, we'll talk to you in 2 weeks. Thank you, sir.
You got it, man.
How many years have I known you now? My God, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
But it's been such a wonderful run, hasn't it? God,
It has. It's been great. It's been
No question.
ridiculous to think that I was talking to Jeff Stilson the other day, and we were, I was saying, "How are your kids?" And he said, "You know what? They're great, but we had an advantage. We had a goal. We had a singular goal.
Yeah.
When it
Yep.
finally locked in, we had that goal. I'm going to be a stand-up, and I'll do anything till I get there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be the biggest thing in Minneapolis radio and morning radio, and I'll do anything until I get there." And he said that mindset really isn't around that much.
No, very true. You're absolutely
So
right
we
about
were
that.
fortunate to kind of ride that surfboard.
Well, stay in touch. Come back on, like I said, whenever
got
you
it.
want, man. It's lovely to see you again and hear you and work with you and all. I mean, it's been all these decades. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, it's been a blast. Andy, thanks, man, and great contributions.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Andy.
I do my best.
All right, we'll
I'm
talk to you
doing it
guys
for
later.
13 years, 13 more. I should be
Yeah.
up in my game.
You'll be in
You
good
might have
shape.
your own show by then.
Maybe.
All right, boys. Thanks,
All
man.
right, we'll talk to you
Yeah,
later.
keep in
Take
touch.
it easy. You got it. See ya.
Bye.